Undisputed, we like to give out letter grades around here. So, Shannon, give Brady a grade.
I'm going to give him a C-, Skip. I thought he was okay, not great. I still think, his QBR, he was 54. He had 54 QBR, which was 21st in this week behind Jeff Driscoll and Sam Darnold. 23 of 35, 217, one touchdown, one interception. Probably should have had a second touchdown. Shady McCoy flat out dropped it. There's no excuse for that. Had great protection, only got hit one time, but he's still a little off, Skip. And I think the thing is, eventually, Bruce Arians, as stubborn as it is, he's going to have to go back and says, Tom, let's do what you do best. Let's implement a lot of what you do, Skip. Because if you look at it, Skip, he had 14 targets to the running backs and the tight end. And you and I both know that's not BA's offense. BA's offense is to push the ball down the field. And Tom is still not quite comfortable with that yet. And I believe he will be better served if he let Tom do what Tom does. And if that's going to be the offense, that's going to be the offense. Because you're not going to get maximum value for these big play receivers because Tom does not want to put the ball in harm's way. And in BA's offense, he wants you to put the ball in harm's way because he's like, risk it, no biscuit. You
know what they always say about Brady? He always throws it where you can't intercept it.
He also,
that's the golden rule.
And guess what he did? He was throwing it where his guys couldn't catch it also. That's also, I guess, one of his rules also.
Okay.
Skip, I'll give him a C- because you expect more from Tom Brady, and I understand it's early in the season. I expect him. I hope he gets better. But right now, Skip, I can't, And then he played Carolina. Let's be real, Skip. How many wins do you think Carolina's going to have at the end of the season?
I thought you loved little C-Mac.
I'm saying I love the player. I'm talking about the team. So over 5 wins.
I don't know. They play in the toughest division in football.
Okay.
Yeah.
And their team is not very.
I saw some weapons. Robbie Anderson's a weapon, and DJ Moore is a weapon, and Little Samuel is a weapon. They got nuclear capability, and then C-Mac is like an MVP.
And now he hurt.
Okay.
He left the game. Boy, yesterday was brutal for injury, Skip. Gee. I'm going to give him a C-. I thought he did some good things. There were some things I didn't think he did really well. And eventually, in order for you to maximize Tom Brady, you're going to have to let him run a lot more of what he's really good at and let him implement a lot of his offense, which utilizes the tight ends and the running backs.
Okay. Somebody on the show has to be objective about Thomas Edward Patrick Brady Jr., and I will be that man right now. I will give him a B objectively, because he deserved it, because his first half was an A+. He was Super Bowl Tom for a half. First half, he throws for 198 yards and a touchdown. They are up 21-0, and I'm down in the flats below Beverly Hills, below Bel Air. I'm just dancing in my little place.
How many yards you said he threw for in the first half?
198. So he's on his way to a 400-yard.
Okay.
Right? So in the second half, he goes 6 of 12 for a grand total of 19 yards, which is no good. Not only has the one interception, I cannot defend. There's something wrong with Rob Gronkowski because that throw was in the vicinity, in the direction of Rob Gronkowski. And he looks a little washed up to me, and I don't use the term wash like LeBron does. I use the up at the end of it, as in washed up, as in over. It looks over to me, and I hope I'm wrong about that because they cannot get him a 1-yard pass. They can't even get his hands on the football until he was on the hands team and caught the onside that ended the game.
Well, he had one, and they got a pass interference, and the ball hit him in the hands.
And he dropped it.
Yes.
And it was called pass interference. I couldn't even really see it.
I didn't either.
Okay, but it was one of the drops.
They called it, right.
Speaking of drops, in the second half, these plays happened in order. If we could see the drops, this is on a 2nd and 15 at the 46. And Brady is going to throw to somebody named Cyril Grayson, who's on his 8th stop in the NFL. If we could see that again, he throws it right up the boundary. Cyril, he's a sprinter from LSU who didn't play college football.
Skip.
There's the second drop.
You do realize the guy's wide open. Just put it on him.
That's Justin Watson for a first down. And here's the play in question. He scrambles. He's got great mobility, and he throws a strike to my man Shady McCoy. LaShawn, you have to catch that. It's just a dart. It's like, thank you, God, I got it, touchdown. And it's going to break the game open, and it did not. So there are 3 big drops that would have accounted for a lot of yards. And then there was another one of these plays that he's getting really good at. He got little Scotty Miller behind another DB, and he throws him another rainbow, and it results in a 23-yard pass interference, which shows you once again that works, but that doesn't count on the passing yardage.
Yeah.
So it hurts. But I showed you passes that would have added up to, I don't know, 100, 125 yards.
But, Skip, the one that you said he hit the guy in the head, Skip, the guy's out of bounds. But do like you did to Mike Evans on that first touchdown. Back shoulder him.
Okay.
That's all you got to do is back shoulder him.
Okay, but it was a highly catchable pass by the receiver because nobody's in vicinity.
Exactly, that's my point.
Uncovered, so just stop at the boundary and plant your feet and turn around and catch the football.
But Skip, you have to understand that is a you said he's a track guy.
He's a track guy. He did not play football at LSU. He just ran track.
Exactly. So
he didn't get it.
So that's when Tom comes in and said, "Look, bro."
Biggest takeaway from yesterday: why was Cyril Grayson even in the rotation? Because Chris Godwin was not.
Right.
Chris Godwin was ranked by Pro Football Focus last year as the best receiver, the best performing receiver in all the National Football League. In game number 1 at New Orleans, who was the favorite target of Tom Brady? It was Chris Godwin. Mm-hmm. And all of a sudden, he winds up on Wednesday in concussion protocol and didn't make it out in time for this game. I'm going to assume he will be out of concussion protocol for the game at Denver, which is, as you know, Tom Brady's house of horrors, right? He's got
not anymore.
Denver Demons, right? Yep. Except your quarterback that you love, Drew Lock, he busted his shoulder yesterday against the Steelers, and I don't think he'll be able to play.
No, they say he's going to be out 2 to 6 weeks.
So it's Jeff Driscoll, who nearly beat my Cowboys in Detroit last year.
Skip, the thing is, they're going to have to find a way to run the football better. I know Leonard Fournette had 12 carries for $103.
He's starting to find his way into the Arians offense.
But they had 22 for 122.
Okay.
So they're going to have to get a little bit of consistency at that. And if they can get better consistency at running the football, now Tom is a very good play-action quarterback. So now you'll be able to hit those big throws to Evans. You'll be able to hit those big throws to Godwin. I don't know if Gronk, we're going to ever see the Gronk that we remember. I hardly recognize him, Skip. Because when he throwing the ball to him, and I know it's like, who the hell is he throwing to? And I'm like, man, that's Gronk.
Yep. As you know, he lost a ton of weight.
Yes. And
maybe he lost his edge, his hunger, his desire to get smacked around the way he used to get brutally smacked.
Skip, it's hard to be, because think about it. When you mentally shut down, you're like, I'm done with this.
Correct.
And then all of a sudden say, you know what? I feel like going back at, I couldn't do it.
Only because his soulmate went to Tampa and it's sunshine through into January.
Yeah, but Skip, they're not going to hit your soulmate like they hit you. Nope. So it's a whole different ball game, and I hardly recognize Gronk. And I know it's only 2 games in, and I want to see, hopefully he gets better as it goes. But anybody that looks at Gronk and says, man, I can't tell a difference. He doesn't run the same. He seems like he was always kind of like robotic, but it seems like he's laboring when he runs now.
I agree. So I want to see more O.J. Howard. I want to see more Cameron Brate. I want to see, obviously, Chris Godwin back at the top of the pecking order.
Right.
And I did see some progress because 21-0 at halftime, that's how it should look. And I think they were very happy. Maybe they were a little too happy with that because they came out a little flat in the third.
But it looked like he's on the same page with Mike Evans.
Yeah.
And that's huge. But it's to Skip. I think it's easy to get on page with one guy because when you got 2 guys that are Pro Bowls, you got to keep them both happy. It's kind of like Jarvis and Odell. Skip Baker's got to keep both of them happy.
Yep.
And I just want to win. You threw him 12, you threw me 3. So Tom understands that dynamic, but he's really never had. He's always basically had one guy. I mean, with the exception, he had Randy and Wes Welker. But for the most part, Skip, it's always just been one guy. For the last, 6, 7 years, it's been Edelman.
Yep.
That was it. He got to feed Edelman and everybody else. Okay, you get what Edelman doesn't get.
Correct.
But when you got 2 dogs and 2 Pro Bowl guys, both of them want to eat.
I like what I'm seeing. I like my chances to win our bet.
Well, I mean, you got two rookie corners in Denver, so you should do a little something this week.
Here we go.
Well, thank you for watching. You can subscribe here to get the latest from the show, and be sure to check out more of the best clips from Undisputed, or go watch a few other segments from our other shows on FS1.